Hello friends, this is Raman Gill with your daily forex market analysis. We'll start by taking a look at some of the economic news that came out today and that had an impact on the market here. In the morning at 4:30 a.m. Eastern, we had construction PMI numbers come out for British pound. The numbers were positive, however, they were not able to lift the British pound and it actually dropped instead of going up on the positive data. We also had GDT price index, which are the dairy prices for New Zealand, which actually dropped by 3% here, and as a result it had negative impact on the New Zealand, and we saw a big drop in the New Zealand dollar today. Also, we had retail sales number come out for Australian dollar. The numbers were positive, and as a result we saw lift up in Australian dollar. Couple other things of note that happened today. There was a news report that was published by Bloomberg Market that suggested that the European Central Bank was looking to gradually wind down their bond purchases program before the conclusion of quantitative easing, and they are looking to do so in the steps of 10 billion euros. What that means is essentially the QE program is supposed to end in March 2017, and leading up to that, European Central Bank is looking at potentially winding it down and decrease the purchases that they are making. Anytime a QE program is introduced, it actually has a negative impact on the currency, and when they talk about winding it down, closing off the program, it actually has a positive impact on the currency. So the currency goes up, and as a result, we saw a big push up in the euro today. So now going forward here, we may see some other members deny this, and we may have some rumors flying around in the market, so that may make euro a little volatile. However, as we get closer to March and we hear more about the QE winding down, that will be positive for the euro. If they do decide to do that, that would be a big positive for the euro, and we can see the euro getting pushed up. However, over the next few days here, or even a few weeks, we may see volatility in the euro as more rumors fly about, and we may see some policymakers deny this. Let's see what happens, but do expect more volatility in the euro as a result of this. Another thing of note that happened was the Federal Reserve Bank President Jeffrey Lacker. He urged the central bank to actually hike interest rates. And anytime there is a talk about hiking interest rate, that's positive for the currency, and as a result we saw the US dollar actually go up, and we saw gold break down. In terms of economic news for tomorrow, we'll have a quick look here. At 1:30 this morning we have RBA Assistant Governor Kent speaking, and then we have services PMI numbers coming out of Europe, and finally services PMI number for British pound at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. We have a fairly busy New York session here as well. We have ADP non-farm employment change numbers, then a trade balance number both for Canada and the US, and at 10 o'clock we have ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers. Again, PMI numbers are leading indicators for the economy, and positive numbers generally tend to have a positive impact on the currency, so watch out for that. We also have crude oil inventories coming out at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and finally into the Asian session we have trade balance for Australian dollar. So a few important data points coming out here, so watch out for that. Moving on to the charts here, we saw this big whiplash in euro here. Looking at the daily chart here, it looks like a rejection on the downside here, which would suggest a move to the upside. We do have this downtrend line come over here, and if the price breaks to the upside here, we can expect it to go and test the top of the range. At this point, big pin bar in the bottom, which means we're looking for a move to the upside. And going to the 1 hour chart here, this is the whipsaw that we saw as a result of that Bloomberg report that came out in regards to the QE program. So once this trend line breaks here, we are looking for a move to the upside, especially if the price stays above the trend line. If it does stay below the trend line, then we could see the price come back and fill this inefficiency. And again, we may have rumors flying around tomorrow, so watch out for that. In terms of the British pound here, we did see a nice break through the bottom of the range here. For tomorrow, we are looking for a down day, so the bias is to the downside for British pound. In terms of a pullback, I am looking for this 127.92 area or 12800 area for a potential pullback and a further drop in the British pound. We do need to watch out for the services PMI number that are coming out tomorrow. However, the bias is to the downside based on the technicals. And here we have, this is the 127.92 level that we are watching, is just above the pivot point. We may see it go all the way to this level here. This is a nice support and resistance. It's also R1 level, so we could see it go all the way to 128.20 as well. So we will keep an eye out for this, and we'll be looking for 12800 or 128.20 for a place to take a potential short from. Aussie here, we did see a nice drop in Aussie today, so this is negative for Aussie. Our bias would be to the downside for tomorrow. However, the positive numbers that came out did push it up. So in terms of the pullback level, this is where I am looking for a potential pullback, 76.50 area. Going to the 1 hour chart here, as we can see, we have a big drop from right here, and this is the level that I am looking for it to go back to. If it goes higher, if it's a deeper pullback, we could see it come all the way to this support and resistance area, which is 76.70 as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. So for now, we will leave it here, 76.50 area or 76.70 area for a potential pullback, and then a further drop for Aussie. Our bias is to the downside. New Zealand dollar, as we can see, a big large candle here to the downside, so our bias is to the downside based on the daily. We are looking for a potential pullback into this 72.27 area. This is the drop that we saw today, and I am looking for this support and resistance area here, 72.30ish area approximately, or maybe even into the pivot point, which is at 72.38. So these are the two levels that I'm watching for a potential back test of this level, and then looking for a further move to the downside. Dollar CAD here, a nice move to the upside, which gives us a bullish bias for dollar CAD. And now we'd be looking for a pullback, and this is the potential level that we could look for a pullback, and this is 131.40 area. That's the area we're looking for a potential pullback and looking for a further move to the upside. Looking at the 1 hour chart here, this is the level we are watching, 131.40. If the price stays above this level, we could see another move to the upside. So we will watch out for that. So just to recap, dollar CAD, we are looking for a move to the upside, big bullish candle, so which gives us a positive bias for this. New Zealand dollar, nice strong candle to the downside, giving us a bias to the downside here. Australian dollar, we did have a nice red candle here, which gives us a downward bias for our daily. And looking at pound here, we saw a nice red candle again. We're looking for a pullback and a drop again. For the euro here, this big pin bar gives it a positive bias. We'll be looking for a move to the upside. If this trend line breaks, we're looking for move all the way to the top of the range here. So that's it for today's daily analysis. I will see you tomorrow.